Hello, my name is Patty Locke. I go online by the nickname Uncle Baby. I'm a trans woman with autism, Tourette's, and OCD, and today I'm going to talk about mind uploading, which is a topic that's talked about in science fiction novels and science fiction games and movies for a long time, but it may become science someday soon. So, you know how when you get an MRI scan or a similar brain head scan, they put you in a machine and they put light through your head or whatever, or magnetic energy or whatever, and then a picture of the inside of your brain, or many pictures of the inside of your brain, appear on a computer screen for the doctor to look at. Now, the theory is that if you did a really, really high quality scan of your brain and got all the neurons and all their synapses and inside the neurons and what the neurochemicals were supposed to do and the memory engrams that each neuron encodes, you got all of it on a computer file, then you could run that file in the computer and it would be like an emulation of a living person's mind. So, the one theory for how you would get a scan that accurate is you would have to take a living brain and slice it up physically, like with little knives, and then take each paper-thin slice of the brain and have it be scanned as it's sliced right at the same time, so that you could get the inside perfectly of the brain of each line. Now, if you did this, you would kill the person, of course. So you'd have to really, really, really hope that you got an accurate copy. Because if you didn't, then you killed them for no reason. And so this is known as a destructive scan, a destructive copy, you might say. Because, you see, people debate about whether, if you were uploaded through this method, would the mind on the computer be a copy of you, or would it be you, and when you died, you would wake up inside the computer, same stream of consciousness, kind of. Now, the thing is, people who think that it would be the same person and not a copy like to say, well, when you fall asleep, your stream of consciousness ends, and then you wake up the next morning and there's a block in the middle, right? That sleep, when you're not dreaming, you're just dead. Like, you're not in there. You're not looking out of your eyes. You're not hearing out of your ears. You're not conscious. So how come you still feel like you're you when you wake up and you feel like you're the same you that fell asleep? Well, maybe you're not you. Maybe we die all the time. We die every time we fall asleep. And that theory is saying that, so if you died being scanned and put into a computer, it's the same thing. You could just feel like you were the same person, and whether you're a copy doesn't matter. Now, I don't like that argument, because I feel like there's got to be some way to make it me inside that computer. I want to wake up inside the robot body. So what about a non-destructive scan method? Like, what if they made an MRI or something like that, like a CAT scan, that was just so accurate that they didn't need to cut up your brain to do the scan? Well, then there's a problem, because you get the digital computer brain mind, but I'd still be alive. So there'd be two of me. There'd be robot me and there'd be regular me. Now, maybe that's not a problem. Maybe you're just saying, I'll never be inside a robot body, but at least I'll get to be friends with my successor, my robot copy successor. I can say, hi, this is how I want you to live my life. You already know this because you're me and you have all my memories up to the point of copying me and scanning me. So yeah, okay, I can die peacefully of old age now. Now, and maybe it would be fun to have robot copy friends. They know everything about us because they're us, and they'd be very snuggly. We could give them robot cat bodies, so they're little cat robots, or something like that. Now, what if you're like, no, I want to wake up in the robot body. I want to wake up in the robot body. The destructive method seems like the right way, but I don't want to die during it. Well, there's one more idea that people have come up with in science fiction called the Ship of Theseus method. Now, the Ship of Theseus was a mythical thing in Greek myth, or I think, where this guy had a boat, a ship, and over time it had wear and tear. So he, over time, had to replace every plank of wood in the ship one by one. Now, let's say after 10 years, you've replaced literally every single plank of wood in that ship, but they're all in the same place as where they used to be, and the ship looks exactly the same as it used to. Is it the same ship? Now, that's called the Ship of Theseus. It's a philosophical question. If you replace every part of something with an identical part, is it the same thing? So how the Ship of Theseus method for scanning a brain, mind uploading, is that they would do a destructive copy, a destructive scan of your brain, but it would replace neurons individually with digital neurons one by one. So like, let's say it scans neuron 1, and then it connects, it's finished scanning neuron 1, so it connects neuron 2 to 9, because this is a 10 neuron brain in this thought experiment, to the digital neuron 1. And then the brain now has 9 real neurons and 1 digital neuron. Then it scans neuron 2. It scans it, it does a digital version, it destroys real neuron 2 and connects all the real neurons 3 to 10 to the digital, the new digital one. And it slowly replaces them like that while connecting them like a network. And that way, you would only, because if you get brain damage, you lose neurons, and you probably don't feel losing individual neurons. So the theory goes, if you're replacing individual neurons, you wouldn't notice. So you wouldn't even notice being uploaded to a computer body, a robot body. So that's the theory. Now, some people think the Ship of Theseus method is bunk. They think, no, that's still death. You're still killing me. You're still replacing all my neurons. And yeah, you're connecting them one by one before you replace the last one. But it still doesn't count. You're killing me. And I think those people may have a point, but I'm not sure. I think we need to know more about how the brain works. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, this is all great theory, but nobody has great brain scanning capabilities that great. Like, nobody can do a brain upload, a mind upload yet. So what about modern day mind uploading? What about stuff in modern day that's kind of like mind uploading? What do I have to look at now? Well, there's something called GPT that's a language model, a language program thingy, a language AI made by this company called OpenAI. And OpenAI was unfortunately co-founded by Elon Musk, but he's not on the board anymore. Now, GPT is this thing where you give it all your text files for a certain person. Like, let's say you give it all someone's emails, all their Twitter tweets, and all their, all their Facebook posts. And then you ask it a question, and it'll answer seemingly in the voice of the person whose text you gave it, because it can kind of figure out the patterns inherent in someone's text and language. So, like, for instance, there's a GPT bot on Twitter where someone took this famous Twitter comedian named Drill, or Wind, he sometimes goes by, and they took all his tweets and they put it into a GPT-3 bot, and they can now generate Drill tweets just on the fly, like just press a button and generate them. And they're almost as good as the real ones. And they're really funny, even though they're made by an AI, and sometimes very insightful and like comedy-wise. And so you could actually, if you hired a programmer who knew how this stuff worked, you could get them to take all your emails and Twitter tweets and Facebook posts and put it into a GPT bot, and it could recreate your style of typing pretty well. And that's possible today. So right now, we have something that's kind of like recreating a mind, but it's not very close to recreating a brain. So yeah. And by the way, if I was gonna be uploaded into a robot, I would want the robot to be cute, like a little cat or a little dog. Because I'm big, and I don't want to be big my whole life. I want to be small and cute someday. So I'm betting on it being a robot thing. Okay. Thank you for listening. I'll see you another time.